Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into an exciting new game that's been turning heads, EternalStrands. Whether you're into sprawling open worlds, epic boss fights, or just love a game that feels like a mix of Breath of the Wild and Immortals Fenyx Rising, this one might be for you. So let's break it down. What it's about, who's behind it, and why it's generating so much buzz. Studio and background. First off, EternalStrands is being developed by Yellow Brick Games. Now this isn't just another indie studio, it's one with a serious pedigree. The team is led by industry veterans, including Mike Laidlaw, who you might know as the creative director behind the Dragon Age series. With experience like that, you know they're bringing some deep storytelling and world-building chops to the table. Yellow Brick Games is still relatively new, but they're already making waves. Their mission? To focus on crafting rich, player-driven experiences. With EternalStrands, they're combining their experience with a more personal, indie approach, and that's super exciting for anyone who's tired of cookie-cutter blockbusters. The premise and world. So what's EternalStrands all about? You play as Bryn, a warrior embarking on a quest to uncover the lost secrets of the Enclave, a long-forgotten civilization. It's a semi-open world action-adventure game, and one of its big hooks is how it ties your powers to the environment. Bryn's magical cloak is the centerpiece of her abilities. This thing isn't just for show, it lets you manipulate elements in really creative ways. You can freeze enemies in place, ignite objects to cause fires, or even alter the environment entirely. For example, if you use fire too much, you could scorch the landscape, turning it into an arid wasteland. Or if you focus on ice, you can freeze rivers, create pathways, or cool down hot areas. It's not just combat, it's about how you shape the world as you explore it. Traversal and exploration. Let's talk about exploration, because EternalStrands really shines here. Bryn has telekinetic powers that let her interact with the world in unique ways. You can hurl objects to break through obstacles, or use them as weapons in combat. But beyond that, you can create ice bridges, burn away barriers, or even launch yourself across large gaps. And get this, you can climb anything. That's right, the game lets you approach vertical exploration in a way that feels completely free. If you can see it, chances are you can climb it, which means hidden areas and secrets are everywhere. Combine that with the elemental manipulation, and you've got a world that's just begging to be explored. Boss fights and combat. Now here's where things get really exciting. Boss fights. EternalStrands features 9 massive, roaming bosses, each with their own unique design and abilities. These aren't your typical hit them until they fall kind of battles. Instead, they play out almost like puzzles. You'll have to climb onto these colossal creatures, find their weak points, and figure out how to bring them down. It's got some serious Shadow of the Colossus vibes, which is a huge compliment in my book. And the rewards? Oh, they're worth it. Every time you defeat a boss, you unlock new magical powers. These upgrades don't just make combat more fun, they also open up new ways to explore the world. It's this loop of defeating bosses, gaining powers, and using those powers to dive deeper into the game's mysteries that keeps things fresh and engaging. Comparison to other games. Now, if you're wondering what it feels like to play, here's the best way to describe it. Imagine the freedom and environmental interaction of Breath of the Wild. You've got massive open areas to explore, elemental puzzles to solve, and that feeling of being able to approach challenges however you want. At the same time, there's a lot of Immortals Fenyx Rising in its DNA. The vibrant art style, the mythological undertones, and even the humour, it's all there. But don't get me wrong, EternalStrands is doing its own thing. The elemental manipulation and the way you interact with the environment give it a unique identity. So what are my closing thoughts on EternalStrands? So, why should you be excited about EternalStrands? Well, it's not just another open world game, it's a blend of exploration, combat and creativity that feels both familiar and fresh. Whether you're a fan of games like Breath of the Wild or Immortals Fenyx Rising, or you're just looking for something new and innovative, this one's definitely worth keeping an eye on. That's all for today's deep dive. If you're as hyped for EternalStrands as I am, let me know in the comments. What do you think about the elemental abilities, or those epic boss fights? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.